Hickman addressed a few minor issues, but is recycling a majority of the chief problems plaguing the X-Men franchise. Saturday's Dawn of X panel at San Diego Comic-Con finally gave readers a look at X-Men post House and Powers of X. I'm going to give the available details and my overall thoughts, then break down each new series and the creative teams and my initial reactions respectively. Polygon.com reports on Saturday Marvel Comics revealed the long-awaited shakeup of the X-Men line, billed as a fundamental change of eras in the long-running superhero epic. Before the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con announcement, all fans have known is that every title under the X-Men umbrella is ending this summer, to be replaced by a mere 2 6-issue miniseries, House of X and Powers of 10. The intertwined plots of the books, both written by Jonathan Hickman, the architect of the relaunch, will lay out new changes for the X-Men, springing both from Professor X's new plan for the future of all mutantkind in the present House of X, and new revelations about mutants in the past in Powers of 10. There's a big story called House of M. X-Men senior editor Jordan D. White told Polygon in an interview, after which mutantkind was reduced in number very greatly, and the books became less about acceptance by humankind and more about the fact that they were going extinct and that they might disappear as a species. That was the driving force of the X-Men, and while there have been fluctuations in the story over the years, I still think that generally that's been the thrust of the line for quite a while. I think it was time for a change. One of the things that we talked about, Hickman told reporters in a press event, was how do we make X-Men the giant X-Men that it was most of my life? So I came up with what I thought was wrong or tired or needed changing. In the same way that Brian Bendis repositioned the Avengers during Disassembled. What is that version of the X stuff? And we came up with this. Once House and Powers of X are over, the X-Men line will spring back to life with 6 new ongoing series revealed at Marvel's Next Big Thing panel at San Diego Comic-Con 2019, and with further waves of books to come. First, I want to say I'm shocked Jordan White was on the Dawn of X panel. I'm under the impression Jonathan Hickman is overseeing every aspect of X-Men moving forward. Jordan White answering questions about the future of X-Men doesn't bode well for the reboot. He's personally overseen the demise of X-Men for several years, most notably the X-Men Disassembled and Age of X-Men debacles that literally just wrapped up. White has shown monumental amounts of ineptitude as X-Men group editor. Jordan White still having a place at the adult table during a launch that's supposed to fix his mistakes is terrible optics, in my opinion. When Grant Morrison exponentially expanded the number of mutants worldwide, it hurt X-Men. The X-Men universe is much healthier when the number of mutants can be counted in hundreds or thousands. Now that Jonathan Hickman is moving the number back to nearly 10 million, I predict far too many of the stories will center around mutant rights. Hickman, like most comic pros, is far to the left. I don't trust he won't continue the recent trend of using X-Men as a mouthpiece for his political views and hate of Donald Trump. Much of what Hickman revealed about his X-Men universe are recycled versions of failed ideas. The new series also feature way too many garbage tier characters who already failed many times over. I'll get into some of the details when I talk about each new series individually. Reshaping Brian Michael Bendis' Avengers Disassembled won't work for Hickman's X-Men in my opinion. There are a few similarities between the successes of X-Men and Avengers, other than Marvel's logo. Hickman sold me on giving his House of X and Powers of 10 a shot after being burned too many times by X-Men. But a little voice told me I was making a mistake. After the release of today's details, my initial instincts are right. I personally won't be played for a fool again. I may read 1 or 2 new titles, as long as the series and stories aren't connected. If they can't be read as standalone books, I'm abstaining altogether. I also want to talk about the general look and feel of all 6 new logos. I imagine Marvel Comics gave general direction and guidance that included uniformity among the X-Men books. But this is absolutely pathetic. These are all very boring, generic, and show a severe lack of creativity. The only one that stands out is Marauders, only because the rest suck so bad. Also, if Marvel Comics is ashamed of having the word men in the title, just take it out or use a series title that doesn't include it. Shrinking the word down so it's barely legible is pointless. Shit or get off the pot, CB. If the word men really offends brass at Marvel, take an actual stand and put your money where your fifis are. Now let's talk about the new titles and creative teams in more detail. Generally speaking, I'm not impressed with many of the art teams, so I may skip most of them. The X-Men's flagship title will return in October with X-Men #1, written by Jonathan Hickman and drawn by Lionel Francis Yu. A new era dawns for the X-Men. The X-Men find themselves in a whole new world of possibility, and things have never been better. Jonathan Hickman and superstar artist Lionel Yu reveal the saga of Cyclops and his hand-picked squad of mutant powerhouses. There's been a lot of speculation about the team due to the fact that all the characters on the cover, besides Wolverine, are related. This is not the actual team on the book. In fact, X-Men won't have a formal team lineup. It sounds like it's a Cyclops-centric series and features every Marvel mutant. Cable, Jean Grey, and Wolverine are all official cast members of other X-Men books. The cover indicates Hickman's first X-Men storyline centers on the Summers Grey family vine. I'm personally a fan of Jonathan Hickman's writing. His East of West series at Image Comics is a well-crafted, long-form story. His previous work on Marvel Comics' Fantastic Four and Avengers is exemplary. However, I'm not impressed with details of Hickman's X-Men universe, and Jordan White's continued involvement is problematic. The flagship series is a must-pass for me. Marauders will be written by Jerry Duggan and drawn by Matteo Loli. The X-Men sail at dawn. Even in this glorious new dawn, mutantkind faces hardships and oppression from their human counterparts. Led by Captain Kate Pryde and funded by Emma Frost and the Hellfire Trading Company, Marauders, Storm, Pyro, Bishop, and Iceman sail the seas of the world to protect those hated and feared. Marauders #1 hit shelves in October. Hickman told Polygon that all the books in the first wave are great, but if they had to pick a personal favorite in the lineup, Marauders would be it. Marauders is an amazing book, Hickman said immediately when asked, and it gets the world of what we're doing in a way that is perfect and unique. The other books are cool, they get it, but Jerry had a distinct advantage because he has been in the writer's room every time I've pitched this, so it's been in his head a long period of time. He heard my pitch and said, "Oh my god, I want to do this book." Jerry Duggan is a pretty good writer on miniseries and other shorter form stories. I find his ongoing series meander too much for my taste, but he didn't kill my interest in Marauders. Kitty Pryde captaining a ship full of characters that make no sense being at sea is most definitely a red flag. But a series centered on pirates protecting fellow mutants from hardships and oppression from their human counterparts? I thought Hickman was supposed to be fixing X-Men, not further cementing the previous status quo. Hard pass. The legendary X-Men title Excalibur returns in October with a new series written by Tini Howard and drawn by Marcus Toe. A new day is forged. Mutantkind has always been special, as has their relationship with the world or worlds around them. As this new era dawns, a new connection forms between mutants and the magic of the world, and that of Otherworld. Can the new Captain Britain forge a new way through the chaos with her companions Rogue, Gambit, Jubilee, Richter, and Apocalypse? Betsy Braddock, aka Psylocke, the sister of original Captain Britain Brian Braddock, will be taking up his mantle for the series. Wow! Apocalypse on an X-Men team? How random! Psylocke replacing her brother as the new Captain Britain feels eerily similar to Carol Danvers taking the mantle of Captain Marvel. It's also a shame Hickman is wasting Gambit and Rogue on a bottom-of-the-barrel talent like Tini Howard. I recently skipped Guardians of the Galaxy Annual, one of the few good Marvel series. written by Donny Cates and Al Ewing, two of the hottest writers in the industry, simply because her name was on the cover. She freshly signed a Marvel exclusive contract, so she's getting far better gigs than she's earned in my opinion. Teenie Howard is the Cullen Bunn or Jim Zub of her generation, a fairly competent, boring writer who brings nothing new or interesting to the series or characters she writes. Instapass. The New Mutants will return in November as co-written by Hickman and Ed Brisson and drawn by Rod Reis. The Next Generation claims the future. The classic New Mutant, Sunspot, Wolfsbane, Mirage, Karma, Magic, and Cypher get together with a few new friends, Chamber and Mondo, to seek out their missing member and share the good news, a mission that takes them into space alongside the Starjammers. This is one of the weirdest announcements. Hickman is writing the first New Mutant story arc before Brisson takes over. I'm doing the first arc of this to set up stuff that's going to matter years from now, said Hickman. I'm glad they announced this beforehand, but in all due respect to everyone involved, Ed Brisson is the only writer on these books that's ever written a great X-Men story. This statement makes it sound like Brisson isn't capable of setting up all the stuff that matters. Rubs me the wrong way, to be honest. I was hoping Brisson would be on one of the creative teams. He's the best X-Men writer at Marvel, at least that they'll use. Boy, did he draw the short stick. New Mutants is filled with Z-list heroes few, if anyone, care about. How many times do quote-unquote classic New Mutant characters like Mirage and Karma need to be replaced or kill titles before Marvel Comics moves on? There are also far too many characters for one series. Despite having the best X-Men writer, I'll be surprised if this iteration of New Mutants survives a year in publication. No interest, despite having a quality X-Men writer. Brian Edward Hill will take writing duties on Fallen Angels with art from Simon Kodransky. The series will kick off in November. Not all belong in paradise. Psylocke finds herself in this new world of mutantkind, unsure of her place in it. But when a face from her past returns only to be killed, she seeks help from others who feel similar to get vengeance. Cable and X-23 join Quanon for a personal mission that could jeopardize all mutantkind. Now we're getting to a series that's interesting. As previously mentioned, Psylocke is taking up the mantle of Captain Britain. I'm a bit surprised they already revealed Quanon is the new Psylocke, although most readers would have guessed it beforehand. Quanon and Psylocke have a sordid history in X-Men. At one point, she took control of Psylocke's body. I'm not a huge fan of the characters on Fallen Angels, but I like that there's only 3 members. The big selling point is the creative team. Brian Hill is among my favorite writers in all of comics. He's come into his own as of late. His work on Detective Comics, Killmonger, and Batman and the Outsiders the past 12 months is the best of his career. He also wrote an X-Men What If story recently. It was pretty damn good as well. I also like Simon Kodransky's art, although I'm not sure if his brooding style fits the X-Men universe or this story. Either way, Brian Hill is almost always must-read for me. As long as this is a standalone title, I'm gonna read it. The Mutant Black Ops team returns in a new X-Force series written by Benjamin Percy and drawn by Joshua Cassera. The series will hit shelves in November. The cost of the future isn't cheap. X-Force is the CIA of the mutant world, one half intelligence branch, one half special ops. Beast, Jean Grey, and Sage on one side, Wolverine, Kid Omega, and Domino on the other. In a perfect world, there will be no need for an X-Force. We're not there yet. X-Force is the second ongoing X-Men series I'm interested in. I find it curious Marvel didn't mention Colossus in the press release. Black Tom Cassidy is also on the cover. It's not clear if he's on the team or one of the villains. If he's on the team, Marvel would be smart to jettison him and Kid Omega immediately. 8 characters is a couple too many in my opinion. X-Force is a fantastic concept, and this incarnation is certainly intriguing. Writer Benjamin Percy is an exciting choice in my opinion. His brief run on Nightwing was excellent. His extended run with Green Arrow leads me to believe he can probably write the types of stories Hickman wants without turning off readers. He also wrote a Wolverine podcast, The Long Night, that was adapted into comic format. He's got a good feel for the character. Percy also sports an impressive set of chops and crazy eyes when necessary. I'm a bit on the fence with this series, but more than likely I'll be reading Ben Percy's X-Force. X-Men editor Jordan White made it clear these 6 books are just the start of Hickman's lengthy plan for the franchise. He's going to be writing X-Men for the foreseeable future, said White, also noting that Hickman is heavily involved in all 6 Dawn of X titles. Hickman even teased that work is well underway on the Wave 2 and Wave 3 titles. Marvel Comics provided no information about the second wave of titles other than Vita Ayala and Leah Williams would helm their own ongoing X-Men titles. The same Vita Ayala and Leah Williams, whose work is below average and can't sell comics. They also led a pair of atrocious Age of X-Men series. Williams' Age of X-Men Extremis is among the worst stories in comics the past several years. It's so bad, everyone should read it. It's like The Room of comic books. Ayala flashes signs of potential, but was thrust into the big 2 way ahead of schedule and unprepared. Leah Williams has no identifiable talent for writing comics, if I'm being honest, but she did pen a Psylocke Blob shipper's fantasy romance story in Extremis. If this is the future of X-Men, count me out. Jonathan Hickman personally handpicked the writers working on X-Men. His eye for talent is severely lacking, or he's intentionally supporting writers he knows suck for woke points. Either way, announcements like this leave me with no faith in his stewardship of X-Men before the first book releases. There you have it, folks. Despite bold talk from Jonathan Hickman of new beginnings and change to X-Men status quo, the devil is in the details. The architect for X-Men's failure the past several years, Jordan White, is still heavily involved in the series. X-Men is returning to one of the huge mistakes introduced by Grant Morrison, a world overflowing with mutants. I have no doubt Hickman and most of his writers will continue using Marvel Comics' mutant heroes as their own mouthpieces about personal ideology and real-world politics. The titles are overrun by Z-list characters, just like they were before Jonathan Hickman arrived. The creative teams feature a handful of good writers, but Ed Brisson is being royally misused. Brian Hill's Fallen Angels and Ben Percy's X-Force had the most promise moving forward. The announcement of Vita Ayala and Leah Williams, who both wrote epically bad Age of X-Men series, for the second phase all but seals my belief that Jonathan Hickman's X-Men are DOA. If X-Men isn't fully rebooted within 3 years, I'll be shocked. Hickman addressed a few minor issues, but is recycling a majority of the chief problems plaguing the X-Men franchise. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.